What you see me unloading here is a Steiner 230. It is a very nice unit as far as its capabilities. This unit itself is dirty. It's got some mold and moss growing on it. We need to clean that off. I want to take the cab off for what I want to use it for. I wouldn't want the cab, but there are people who are going to want a cab. So I'm going to try to sell that and get some of my money back. It does have the Kubota gas engine. Now, if you're familiar with Kubotas at all, as far as their engines, they're really good engines. This unit has 3,300 hours on it. Not a bad thing at all. That engine's good for 8,000 hours, as long as it's maintained properly. The machine itself, the hydrostatic part of it, is going to be easy to rebuild. It's very simple. There's not a whole lot on these machines that can't be repaired unless it is rusted out beyond repair or if it is crushed in some way. So let's get to it. I'm gonna, first things first, I did get a set of tires with it. They're not the ideal turf tires like you would have for mowing yard, but for now, for me to be able to move it around, work on it, it does have these extra tires that I can put on. So I'm gonna get those on and see what we do. So, we've got it all washed. I'm not sure why my video cut out on part of it, but let's take a look at it. Okay, after taking a look at it, it does need some work. I want to get rid of all of this stuff here. I think I want to get the cab off since I'm not going to use it. I want to get the cab off. It'll get it out of the way so I can get in here, see what's going on, work on this unit a little bit better. So give me some time and I'll get this off of here. Okay, so I got everything loose and I put the doors on, took pictures. I'm going to get this cab sold. It does have a wiper, lights, everything. So I'm going to get the forklift and we'll see if we can get this off of here. I do have a few shop friends here. There is Stash. He is a black cat with a white mustache. You might see him from time to time. I have Maggie. She's the Doberman you'll see. And then we have a little guy that has a name that you won't forget. This is Turd. He likes to sleep on my forklift seat. His real name's Scooter, but everybody calls him Turd. He was a real bass turd at one time, but my daughters told me I couldn't call him that. So it just got shortened to Turd. So anyways, I got to kick him off the seat every time I want to use my forklift. He likes to relax there. He's a Pomsky. In the wintertime, you'll see him sleeping outside in the snow rather than being inside where it's nice and warm. So anyways, he's a naughty little kid. He gets into everything, dumps my trash half the time. And yeah, if there's any kind of food, fast food waste in the garbage can, it will be dumped. It will be scattered across the entire shop. And he's just naughty. All right, back to work. Come on. Good boy. Okay, I think the safest way is going to be using straps. Okay, now that I've got all the brackets off that went with the cab and everything, I got all the bolts, everything over there. I do still have these little bars down here that need to come off. Not too worried about those right now. But I am going to wash it again. And the reason for that is, in my experience, it's very uncommon to have black widow spiders in the state of Ohio, but I did come across 3 of them already on this machine. So rather than take the risk of getting bitten by a black widow spider, never had that before, I'm not sure how serious it is, but I don't want to experience it, so I'm going to go ahead and wash out all the nooks and crannies now that I've got covers off and everything. It'll also make it cleaner to work on, so let me get it back in the wash bay and get it cleaned up again. All right, so I think we're ready to see what we can figure out. First things first, let's check the oil. Okay, way down in here. Wow, the oil looks like brand new, and it's full right to the top where it's supposed to be. Does not look like it's run at all since the oil has been changed. I did notice there's another hour meter back here. The one up front says 3,363 hours. This one says 2,280 hours. I don't know if they had to change the motor at some point, or why the hour meter changed. I'm not quite sure. Or they may have changed the tachometer up front and put a newer style tachometer in off of a, if it was used, off of another piece of equipment, and it has an hour meter on it, because this does look like a factory mount for this machine. Well, actually I take that back. It does not look like it is the factory mount, because the factory mount, that is a mount for a 420. Wow. Boy, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why this machine has 2 hour meters. It does say on the front hour meter, it says hours under hood. So did they take this engine out of a 420, which would be a 4-wheel drive articulating tractor? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that equates to, but it does say hours under hood, so I'm assuming that means this is the correct hours for the engine. Either way, 3,300 hours, 2,200 hours, that's a low hour machine still. It's got way more life left than what I would use ever mowing my yard. So let's tear into it. Oil looks good. Antifreeze is right up at the top, and my tank on the side reservoir is full. So I think we're safe to turn it over. Yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, I guess first things first, we should maybe check to see if there's gas. Oh, it does not appear to have gas. Let me get a flashlight. That tank is dry, very dry. All right, let me get some gas. All right, let's get a little bit of gas in here. I'm a little concerned, since the tank was dry, does it have a crack in it, a leak? So I'm not gonna put too much in for now. Make sure that we have enough for the pickup, and we do. With everything being all wet, I can't really tell if we have a leak right now. I guess we'll be able to tell in a little bit. We smell gas. One thing I do want to check though before I try to start it is the air filter. I haven't checked that yet. Looks fairly clean for test run. That's not a problem. I'm not too worried about doing anything more with that. Eventually, if we get everything running, we'll give it a complete tune-up, plugs and everything. And but first, let's see what we got. So it does have an electric fuel pump. We'll turn that on, let it pump some fuel, and we do have a choke over here. So let's go ahead and give it some cranking. Okay, so it's not turning over, or it's not starting, so the battery does sound like it's getting a little bit low. I'm going to go ahead and get the charger on it and get some power flowing there. Okay, got that set at 40 amps. Let's see what we've got now. Okay, we're still not starting, so I guess first things first, let's see if we have spark. So, of course, I moved into a new place. This shop, I built it about a year ago. I'm still not done with it. Still don't have everything put in place. So I'm having a hard time finding my spark checker. So we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way with a screwdriver. See if we see a spark. And we do not have spark. Okay, well, I guess we're going to check for voltage. Okay, I'm going to bring you closer. Okay, I'm not getting voltage to the coil, so let's see what we can find. It goes back there, down, around. We've got all of this up here. Okay, I'm going to check to see. I've got a couple fuses and whatnot up in here. Let me see if any of those are bad. First off, let's check this one. That one does appear to be good. Oh, wow. Well, that doesn't seem to be attached the way it's supposed to. I think maybe that was bolted in with the cab. And so we're going to have to get a bolt back in there. The fuse there is good. We do have 1, 2, 3. Is that it? 3 breakers in here. So let's see if we got voltage coming through those from ground. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. No, I don't have voltage anywhere. Well, might have to start with the ignition. See if the ignition is putting voltage out where it needs to go, or if it's simply just going to the starter. But I do hear the fuel pump kicking on. So I do have a coil timer module here. Let's try it. Huh. Boy. I think the easiest thing is going to be take this ignition out of there. Okay. Wow. It is dirty and corroded. Back here. You know what? I believe this may have been a diesel unit to begin with, because it does have a glow plug light on the dash. And I see right here, this module right here is for the glow plug light. It will tell it when it needs to, if the light will come on for X amount of time, and then it tells you, okay, go ahead and start. So, I'm really curious if that's why we've got a different engine. Not quite sure why you would switch from a diesel to a gas, unless something went wrong with the diesel and what you were able to find was a gas. So, either way, let's keep going. I believe right here. You know what? Let me just check to the battery. Make sure I have a ground on where I was testing. Okay, so I may have made a amateur mistake. I was testing from this bolt right here for ground and trying to get power on these different things, and I don't have a ground there. Not sure why that doesn't have a ground, but I'm not getting a ground there. So maybe if I check to see if I have ground somewhere, and then test again to see if I have power to these different points, maybe we'll be doing better. So I guess before we go any further, let me just confirm a ground. Okay, now I feel even dumber. I just realized I had my meter on AC voltage. That's not going to get me anything. So let's start back with the ground on this bolt and see what we've got. Okay, so yeah, that was a really dumb rookie mistake. I thought I had it on DC voltage, and I had it set for AC, so I got no reading. I have a perfect ground on that bolt. So now we can start testing where we started originally, and let's see what we got. Okay, so we've got power everywhere we're supposed to have power. Makes me feel pretty dumb that I simply had my meter. There's a simple button right here. I pushed it real quick and thought I had it on DC, didn't check, and had it on AC. So, of course, I'm not going to get a reading with the meter set to AC, trying to get DC voltage read. So as we have power everywhere we're supposed to, let's go ahead and get the ignition tucked back in where it's supposed to be and resume our search for the lack of spark elsewhere. Okay, so while I was putting this ignition in, I found this tag. So this unit was originally owned by Ohio State University. So I'm assuming the maintenance was done pretty good. They maintain their equipment. I'm assuming they're not going to have their equipment just letting it get dilapidated. This is an old piece of machinery at this point, but I'm assuming they have a maintenance department that would take care of it properly, maintain it properly. So that's good news. Still a little baffled on the fact that it was switched from a diesel to a gas. Okay, I want to go ahead and get this piece mounted back in here. That came off with the cab. It unbolted here, so let's get that bolted back on. That's back in place. So to continue our search for the lack of spark, let's go back to the engine bay. Okay, we do have quite a bit of water from washing down on the coil. I'm going to go ahead and blow that off as good as I can, try to make sure we're not just shorting out down there. Okay, that took care of our spark issue. So let's try this again. Okay, so then now that we know we have spark, let's make sure that we've got fuel. Wow, yeah, we definitely have fuel. Pop that fuel line off and it's pumping like crazy. So, okay, we started and then we stopped. Not quite sure why we stopped. Okay, so we're running. Not sure why it stopped on me other than just air in the fuel line. So I'm gonna get this thing back into gear again, I guess to say. There's a high and a low range on the transfer case. I'm gonna get it back into gear. I put it in neutral so I can roll it. Let's see if we have any movement at all. Wow. Throttle's really stiff, but before we go too much further, I want to check and see if we have hydraulic fluid because I'm not getting any movement out of any of the hydraulics. So let's go ahead and open up that and see. Wow. Everything I open up, I just find more and more dirt. So back in the wash bay one more time, get some of that dirt out of there. I don't want to introduce dirt into the hydraulic system. So let's get back up there. Okay, so now hydraulic fluid. Right inside here, let me see if I can get you up here. On these 230s, even though I'm not extremely familiar with them, I've done a lot of 430s, 420s, a lot of Ventrac tractors. Haven't done a whole lot on these 230s, but we have to take this plug off so that we can fill it with hydraulic fluid. On a Steiner, you can use 303 tractor hydraulic fluid. Whatever you do, don't ever use that on a Ventrac. On a Ventrac, I have not figured out quite what is required yet. It's a different kind of fluid, some kind. If you don't use the Ventrac fluid, it will foam up and it will go all over the place. But on a Steiner, ooh, do you see the size of that spider? Right. Where the heck did it go? Look at that spider. Oop, it jumped down somewhere. Ooh. There it is. Now it's swinging. No, shit. Missed the little thing. There we go. Wow, that wasn't very tight. I do have fluid here, so let's get fluid in there. Going down awful slow. And after this is in, we're on the dipstick. We're within the tolerance of where we're supposed to be. We're going to button things up enough to take a little test run, make sure the steering works. With no hydraulic fluid, the steering obviously was doing nothing. So we'll start it up here in just a little bit. It's just about down. And we'll give it a shot. Okay, here goes nothing, I guess. Bad news. Okay. We do have oil dripping right there. Let's get this thing lifted up and see where it's coming from. Okay, let's take a look here. A lot of grime all over the place here. Wow, this thing's dirty. Needs some washing underneath here too. But it looks like somebody... Wow. They must have had a crack, a leak or something, and it looks like they put JB Weld or something on the whole thing. Based on the amount of JB Weld, I'd say it was a pretty big crack. That would explain why there was no hydraulic fluid in here, since the transmission is the hydraulic reservoir. Okay, that's gonna be a lot of work. Wow. Not sure what to think. This hitch is in good shape. There's really not any wear here. Usually that's worn way down. Those things back in there are worn down. It does have a little bit of wear right back in there. That's not too bad. That's normal, but these are clean. Very clean. Might have been replaced. But the transmission, I don't know if that aluminum can be welded. Let me know in the comments if you have any experience welding something like this. Okay, well, with that kind of damage on this thing, I think we're gonna have to try and consider, is it worth a fix or not? I gotta see what a housing costs for this. Just not sure if it's a worthwhile fix or not, but we'll find out.